Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video I'll be discussing my thoughts on episode 9 of the anime series Galilei Donna. And this was a thoroughly mind-blowing affair, I have to say. Even though there were certain elements of it that I kind of loosely predicted or suspected might be the direction we were going, it was still nonetheless just absolutely mind-blowing because, of course, we're brought right to the brink of the precipice and effectively shoved over the edge by the middle of this episode. Now, it all has to do with the unfolding quest seeking out these Galileo sketches. They're looking for the sixth, and of course they end up finding it, tracking it down in the Libyan desert in these ruins, when who shows up but none other than Roberto Materazzi, being right on their coattails, seeking those sketches for himself. But it turns out there's another purpose for why he's looking for them, not just this sort of obsession with creating a new world power or a new world energy source and all that stuff. It's also because Hozuki very expertly, very neatly switched out a fake with the Tessero that he thought he had his hands on a couple episodes back. That little medallion that looks like a goldfish has an hourglass shaped inside it. She faked him out and gave him a false one, and that is absolutely brilliant on her part because she doesn't even understand really what the machinations of the genuine artifact are, but she knows enough that she wants to hold on to it. So he comes calling, he tosses the fake down, and he's like, I want those papers. Anna then has a very interesting duality that she puts on with her persona because she admits to suddenly being, once Roberto calls her out on it, working alongside him, being a sort of spy and all this stuff. And it's just very intriguing because, of course, the girls are heartbroken and shocked. But we know that the inner turmoil Anna's been going through as viewers, we're seeing her sort of being very regretful and not sure, uncertain about all of this, and very unhappy about the fact that these girls, their lives are hanging in the balance because of the murderous intent that Roberto shows. And she's basically just trying to bide time, trying to make him think, she's still working in line with him and all this stuff. And you have this very intriguing moment where he hands her the gun and says, you do it, you kill them, but then she turns the gun on him. And of course the girls are trying to escape, and his ship basically is watching the whole scene unfold. They start firing on them and everything, and then all of a sudden you have the Black Ganymede crew showing up, and their leader just being like, you know what, we're not sky pirates anymore for today, we're going to be heroes, and we're going to save them, protect Bambina and all this stuff. This is where it actually gets more intriguing, because you have the girls trapped, and missiles about to blow them into the ever after, and all of a sudden you have Hozuki activating inadvertently that Galileo Tessero. It starts to glow, it has all that crimson light energy pulsing out of it, and much as I speculated back in that hospital episode when it last did its big explosive energy blast kind of thing, it seemed like time stopped, and I wondered if there was some level of time travel that it was hinting at with the hourglass. And sure enough, as it activates, Hozuki finds herself thrown up into the sky but then falling back out of it, and she has effectively tripped backward in time. She meets this young man who's flying this sort of wooden and, papier-mâché looking aircraft that he's built by himself, and I suspected who this person was going to turn out to be before he even said it. But of course, it's very intriguing because she meets her ancestor there in the flesh, Galileo Galilei himself, trying this experimental aircraft that she basically destroys by landing on it and crashing them down into a tree, which they then fall out of and everything. And of course she's completely flummoxed and hyper at first because she left her sisters behind, facing death. There's a whole battle waging and unfolding in the future that she's got to get back to if she has any hope of saving her sisters. But now she finds she's going to spend the next 23 days in this past, whether it's Italy or Europe or wherever, with Galileo. And it's funny because it's almost like a predestination paradox for those who are familiar with time travel tropes, which I've always been a big sci-fi time travel fan. So here it seems he's falling for her a little bit, and there might be some of her falling for him. And of course, if they're ancestors, that's a little weird, but I think this might be who he writes about in those sketches that they've been finding and seeking out. There seems to be an emphasis in each one of them about a sort of unrequited love, once having met and never being able to attain that love again. And that's very much seemingly what it's going to be for Hozuki. She's tripped back in time. She's met this young man. He may be becoming smitten with her because of her intellect, fact, she's basically helping him with designs for a new airship. They build it to look like a goldfish, kind of like a wooden and, as I say, papier-mâché version of the Galileo from the future, the big mecha robot version she built. And you see him sort of longing for the rain to continue, as the rain plays a large part in, are they ever going to be able to test this thing flying again? Are they ever going to be able to find that cloud that she sort of warped through and warped out of from the future to get her back and send her home? It seems like he doesn't want that to happen. And you notice at the end of this episode, she looks up at him as if she can sense, he's not too happy about the fact that she's going to be leaving again. So it's very intriguing how this has all kind of been flopped on its ear. We have all of this unfolding in the future, this sort of life and death, a risk game going on with the future machinations of trying to attain power in the world and trying to keep people oppressed and all this stuff. The sisters are pretty much right up against a rock and a hard place with death looming over their heads. You have sky pirates trying to save the day and bad guys from the corporate conglomerates trying to ruin them. And here you have Hazuki completely being thrown out of the loop into the past, where she's meeting her great ancestor, who the love affair he'll have with her just for those days she's been trapped there will be something that lasts him a lifetime and eventually leads to this journey that they're on in the future. So it's very interesting how one thing leads to another and back again, and I'm just very intrigued, and I can't wait to see where it's going to go from here in the last few episodes we have. And I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below if you're able to post what you thought of episode 9 and the big revelations and the time travel stuff going on. And I hope to hear from you. Otherwise, I hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you later. Peace.